All right, everyone, how's it going? My name is Brandon Netzel, and I'm going to be presenting case number 15, which is Gillette, Why Innovation Might Not Be Enough. All right, so just a brief overview. I'm going to start with an overview of the company. Then next, I'm going to talk about innovation strategies, followed by some segmentation as well as target audiences that Gillette tends to, target in the market. And then I'm going to talk about some of their promotional campaigns, as well as briefly mention some of their current financial information. And then I'll talk about marketing tool application and core issues. So, just to kind of talk about the company overview, Gillette was founded in 1901 by King Camp Gillette. He was a man from Wisconsin who, unfortunately, his house burned down in the Chicago fires. So he moved around a little bit as a traveling salesman. And one day in 1895 was thinking about, a much simpler way to get a clean shave for men. And that included his introduction of a disposable razor that could be used a few times to get a good shave, and you can toss it out rather than using a straight blade. The initial release was of the original Gillette Safety Razor and Blade. This was when Gillette was actually just called the Gillette Safety Razor Company. They since then, since 1901, they have released numerous re-innovations of the disposable razor since their inception. Even razors today were really like that are common, such as like the Mach 3. Mach 3 Turbo is a renovation of that, and the Mach 3 is a razor that has been out for many years. Their primary focus is to continue improving on the timeless invention of the disposable razor. As I just mentioned, they are constantly, re-innovating, and we'll kind of get into it a little bit more as this presentation goes on. And they continue to innovate it to this day. They want to keep trying to, stay relevant with, electric razors out in the market now, and other companies such as Schick and Bic that also make razors. All right, so some of their innovation strategies. So the razor wars was a big thing that faced Gillette. This put a hold on the innovation of the successful, what was already the successful that disposable razors. They were really just trying to outdo each other. And the razor wars kind of spit out something such as the Schick family of razors. So at this time, like I had mentioned earlier, the Mach 3 was a razor that just had 3 blades layered on top of each other, and that was what was standard at the time. Schick then released the Quattro. I hope I'm saying that all right, which was a 4-blade cartridge that was anticipated to have a smoother and cleaner shave. So then it was just kind of like, who can outdo the other? So Gillette had introduced, after lawsuits and stuff, Gillette tried to introduce a 5-blade razor, and it didn't really work too well. People didn't think that it really was that much better than a typical 3-blade razor. So then, after the razor wars was over, Gillette had finally responded by releasing products such as the Pro Glide series of razors. They released, a Pro Glide trimmer, Pro Glide Pros, even standard Pro Glides, just to kind of stay on top of the market and make sure they were still the best. So for some segmentation, we'll talk about Gillette tends to pride itself on their customer loyalty. I was reading a little bit online, throughout my work on this case, and someone had asked why Gillette razors are so expensive, but they still continue to hold the majority of the market. And someone from Gillette answered a question, and this I feel like is a really important thing to talk about in this case, because it's what we had just talked about last week with social influences on consumer behaviors. It comes down to customer loyalty. Like I have my phone right here. I'm an Apple fan, so a lot of what I have is Apple. I'm recording this presentation on an Apple computer. I've had Apple Watches in the past. It's what I know, it's what I like. And it's a razor, you're shaving your face. It's kind of something that you want to use the same one that you trust for years and years. So on top of that, their target market is also extremely large. Men all across the world tend to shave their faces. Clearly I'm lacking a little bit, but it's something that everyone needs. And then we're going to continue with saying with the introduction of their female razors, the target market became that much larger. So, women obviously need to be groomed as well. So it's just kind of something that, was almost, why would you not do it? It just helped make the target market that much bigger. So some promotional campaigns. This picture down here is of some of the 24 athletes that participated in the 2012 Olympic Games in London. These guys were part of Team Gillette. And that was basically a big marketing strategy, getting your name out there in the Olympics. I mean, it's the Olympics. It's probably, it probably, if not definitely, is the most watched sporting event, on a consistent basis. I mean, I get so excited to watch the Olympics, and, to see a big name like Gillette up there is just something that is so huge. All of, athletes like Ryan Lochte was one of the big ones. He was one of the most popular athletes in that summer games in 2012. For him to have Gillette attached with his name, so many different people are going to think, maybe to go try Gillette, or, at least it gets the name in their heads. And then another big one, not really promotional, but Gillette performed a lot of research and development around the world from the help of Procter and Gamble. They attempted to introduce the Gillette family of razors to companies, or to countries, such as India. India was a country that, before this research and development started happening, that wasn't really a huge target market for companies like Gillette to sell razors to. And then, after many years of research and development, which they continue to do to this day, research and development became Gillette's best ally. It kind of helped them to figure out exactly where their products are needed, and where they can continue to sell them at. So in this case study, I know everyone has the book. It's on page 483. It just kind of brings up a little bit of the men's products and the women's products sold by the three different companies, Gillette, Schick, as well as Bic. And it kind of shows the price points of each of the razors, and the replacement cartridges by all three of these companies. So, a company like, we'll say Gillette, for example, the Mach 3, it's been sold for decades. The initial price of the razor, although is, $8.59, where they really get you is buying packs of the replacement cartridges in packs of either 5 or 12 for $15.49 or $29.69 respectively. So, the biggest thing, and another really big, promotional campaign was when I was about 18, Gillette, I had a package in the mail from Gillette, and it was one of the Fusion Pro Glides, right when the Flex Ball came out. And I researched a little bit back then. I knew I wanted to go into marketing, and it's just like, why would they just send me, a $10 razor just for free? I'm not the only one that did this. This had to have been a millions of dollars worth of, product that they're just flinging out to people. And, where they really get you is the replacement cartridges. And, it just obviously keeps the company afloat. So yeah, this is a really interesting, chart to look at, and it kind of really helps you understand, exactly the price points that everything is at. So finally, we're going to talk about marketing tool applications, as well as some core issues, kind of with not necessarily just specifically the case, but Gillette as a whole. The use of research and development is going to continue to help Gillette, expand across the world and increase their target market. It's research and development is one of, if not the biggest thing that companies do, that are going to sell a product. You want to make sure that, the product you're releasing is perfect, and you want to make sure that it's perfect for the people that you are intending to sell it to. This is something that Gillette cannot do without the help of Procter and Gamble. And it will also help them to maintain a strong hold on the majority of the market. So thank you guys very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.